The swap execution facility was given life by the Dodd-Frank Act. After 3 years of meetings, rule proposals, comments, and more meetings, the final SEF rules were published by the CFTC in mid-2013, and trading has commenced on 18 registered SEFs. John Lothian News attended SEFCon 4 and interviewed a dozen of the leading SEF operators, regulators, and other participants to bring you this 3-part series on SEF regulation, the changing market structure, and the new technology required to make it all happen.
People are trying to deal with pre-trade credit checks and what is the void ab initio issue. All of these types of things are very difficult. We were approaching a new deadline, the made available for trade deadline. And they're also complying with a flurry, a blizzard, if you will, of new interpretations and guidance from the staff. I think since September 26th, we have 13 new staff guidance directive or no action letters that people are trying to assimilate into their trading protocols.
Dodd-Frank was written in 2010. It was passed in a highly political environment. It was rushed to get a bill to be signed before the 2010 elections. And a lot of the points in the law were really kind of left up to the regulators to sort out.
The Commission and the staff have tried to implement rules maybe too quickly, maybe not have engaged as much with the industry that they could have done, and that they've tried to bring rules into a marketplace that there are nuances to that I'm not, with the greatest respect to them, 100% sure that they had done the research to really get into the weeds of how these markets form in terms of liquidity on a day-to-day basis.
A recent advisory says that if a U.S. affiliate performs core front office functions, it must register. To some SEFs, this was an unexpected change.
What was released on Thursday regarding transactional requirements, if you have personnel that are front office, as he says, engaged in the swap transaction, then you have to comply with Dodd-Frank, is sort of an add-on to the cross-border guidance. I don't think it was completely clear how that would be treated in the cross-border guidance, but this sets forward a clear advice from the division. And again, it's staff guidance, it's not the commission.
The CFTC issued a number of staff guidance letters that had very significant implications, one of which was the introduction of, in addition to a entity-level test for a U.S. person, this concept of a locality test for the people who are involved in front office functions. That has a lot of implications for how you would apply business conduct rules, has implications for how you would actually conduct your business as a SEF or a non-U.S. swap dealer.
Another source of 11th hour controversy for SEFs was footnote 88, which expanded the scope of the final SEF rules.
Footnote 88 was the notion that if you act like a SEF, you are a SEF. And that's fine. The ICAP and the other members of the WNBA raised our hands early in the process and said, we're SEFs. That's what we do. But what footnote 88 did was that it took bilateral contracts and puts them on exchanges, puts them on SEFs.
Footnote 88 caught the market by surprise in some regard. Some market participants and market structure providers were built that way from the get-go. I think the single dealer platforms still provide great utility for the non-SEF mandated liquidity. They just need to be complemented by a SEF solution, and there's plenty of providers out there willing to provide the solution.
February 2014 marks the CFTC's first determination of which swaps will be made available to trade, subjecting them to mandatory execution on SEFs.
If you go through the legislative history of made available to trade, the initial concept was, okay, great, we have SEFs, we have these swap dealers, so we're good to go. And the question was asked, well, what if no SEF lists a swap? Because remember, under mandatory trading, under trading requirements, if it's made available to trade on a SEF and it's mandatory cleared, it must trade on a SEF. So it makes bilateral transactions of these swaps between swap dealers illegal. And it was really 4 English words. As long as the swaps are made available to trade on a SEF, once again, those 4 words grew into an extensive set of rules.
If you could summarize it, it would be that it's not over yet. And I think it's for everyone to stay focused on getting the right solutions for the right products and the right market structure rolled out in a way that's that's robust. The closing message is that we've all done a really good job up to this point, but we're not over the line yet.